Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and today we are on a hunt for a medicinal fruit. That's my friend Ringus, an elder of the Bidayu people of Borneo, and me. And he mentioned something that we're gonna go along the main road, but I guess this was just the first part of the trip. He says, be careful, this is very deep. Bridges. My nemesis. And this bridge is even underwater. Oh yeah. And this ditch sure is very deep. That's gonna be fun. We are looking for a fruit which the Malayu people call Asam Candis and the Bidayu people call Candis. The Bidayu language is kind of similar to the Malayu language. However, Ringus weighs less than half as I do. And you don't want to know how many bridges I've destroyed in my time in Borneo. Well, the languages are related and I can totally see the relation, but they are still pretty distinct, more or less like English and German. And of course, both the Malayu and the Bidayu language have a lot of very distinct dialects, and actually the people of the different dialects don't really understand each other. Here, by the way, we are walking through a little palm oil plantation, not one of the giant commercial ones of the big corporations, but belonging to a friend of Ringus. He warns me everywhere where there is danger of slipping or falling or getting hurt. I'm like a giant baby. I might be more than twice his size, but he has more than 20 times my experience. Oh, a Matoa or crystal fruit and pineapple. So what is this bois Candis? The Malayu, they call different fruits with this name. Well, they call it Asam Candis. Asam simply means sour. And oh, look at that. Somebody is breeding fish here. Well, Asam means sour, and a lot of fruits are being called Asam. A lot of not closely related fruits like wild mangoes, tamarind, and in this case, a wild mangosteen relative. Even the name Asam Candis is not reserved for one species, but is being used by the Malayu for several different Garcinia species. What are Garcinia? They are relatives of the queen of fruits, of the mangosteen. And here is the Garcinia, which most probably is Garcinia parviflora. However, let's see if there is something good. It's a small tree. In the back there is a big tree. First I saw only the little one here. Here a big part of the big tree has fallen down a little bit too early. The still green fruits are okay. Well, when a fruit is called sour even when it's fully ripe, and then you try it when it's still unripe. Okay, let's see. Being warned by his reaction, I just tasted a little bit. And yeah, it is really sour. The owner of the tree is arriving with a parang. Good that he's a good friend of Ringus. No, I will show you on YouTube. You coming with the parang. Why are you stealing my boa Candis? Well, so he's less of a problem than his dogs. I'm afraid his dogs might chew my backpack. Huh?
No.
No? Anjing, tidak makan ransel saya, okay? So what is the super sour fruit used for by the Bidayu people? Is this one ripe enough already?
Take the ripe one.
Could be ripe enough. Boom. Still super sour.
Yeah.
Here Inges found another one. Here you can see that it is a mangosteen relative. The inside is a bit less sour. A bit.
Eat the seed and dry the other part. Dry it for reservation.
Okay. So yeah,
For another purpose.
you can eat the seed fresh. They are slightly less sour. And then you dry the rind. And the rind has the dry rind has two very important functions. One is when a baby is born prematurely, like with yellow skin, yellow eyes, they basically make a tea from the dried fruit, or if they don't have the fruit, they make a tea from the leaves. And then
To take bath.
then the baby can take a bath in this, and it's supposed to help like the baby develop and the skin develop. And Ringa says whenever you don't have any of those around, not even the leaves, you can also put the baby out in the morning sun, not in the hot midday sun, of course. And that also helps the baby which is born too early to develop. Such a pity. So many unripe fruits. Okay, Ringas ate a little bit too much again. What about, on the tree there are a few more ripe fruits. And here are a couple which fell off probably when the tree broke down, when this one big branch broke down and started to rot. So what's the second function of those fruits? It's a culinary one. Like many other fruits around here, when a fruit is incredibly sour, it is still being used for some dishes. So the sour taste here, a strong sour taste, is considered desirable for various dishes. And this particular fruit here is being, well, the dried rind is being mostly used for fish dishes. So they cook fish with it, which is giving the whole fish dish a nice strong sour flavor. And actually, Ringas showed me they have a little bag of the rind of those fruits dried in the refrigerator, and they are so sour that you just need a tiny bit of it for one dish. I tried one. It tastes a lot like the dried cherry plum flesh, and yeah, I agree that you don't need a lot for one dish. Here Inges is collecting the unripe ones, since, well, there are no ripe ones down here. I guess, well, we could climb and shake some down, but it's a lot of work just to get the slightly tastier fruits. I mean, this is not about the sweetness of the fruit, this is about the sourness. Sour. There are many Garcinia species here in Borneo. Of course, nobody knows exactly how many. And most of them are simply that incredibly sour. A couple ones are pretty tasty, like the native Garcinia forbesii or Garcinia mangostana, the mangosteen, the queen of fruits. But yeah, having an extremely sour, albeit not unpleasant taste is kind of the standard for this genus. Here, by the way, the owner is collecting the Matoa or crystal fruit. A fruit native to the Borneo jungle, however, it has become quite popular in Borneo gardens only in recent decades. Mostly this development has been driven by Chinese people who like it, not only for its taste, but also for its medicinal value. And he's... Is it okay for you when I show you on YouTube or not so much? What? Is it okay when I show you on YouTube? Okay. You will become famous. Okay. What is your name? Kawi. Master Kawi. Okay, so the name of the owner is Mr. Kawi, and he is collecting the crystal fruit. Quite a nice big variety. Look at that. This is some good quality crystal fruit. And yeah, definitely needs to come and collect it, because as you can see, the squirrels and other animals have already been at it. Using the pole to twist off the whole fruit bunches. A bamboo pole with a slit at the tip. Okay. He's good at throwing, but I'm not good at catching. Oh, let's try it after the sour mangosteen, the sweet crystal fruit. It's a nice change. No. More quality. Big, juicy. More savory than sweet, but that's not unusual for Matoa. Yeah, good fruit. I would say that I prefer a good quality lychee or a good quality pulazan to this one, but still it's nothing to be sneezed on. And right now there are no lychees and no pulazans to be had in the whole area. The Kasturi limes don't have a lot of fruits. Last year there was a bumper crop for most fruit species around here, but this year fruits of all persuasions are really scarce. Here Ringas is looking for a fruit which in many parts of Borneo is called Tarap, but here they do not call it Tarap. Here they call another related fruit from the Artocarpus genus Tarap. What do you call this one in Bidayu? Pian. So here they call it pian. Pian ini sudah masak? Belum. Looks almost. Belum. Belum masak ini. The fruits are already quite big. However, I don't see a single old one on the ground. Yes, I see one on the ground. It will probably be already rotten, but it could be hati-hati. It could be a good indication how ripe the others are. Fell prematurely. Also a couple others have already been destroyed. Which animal does this? Like
Munsang like to eat munsang.
Munsang. Yeah. So the civet. Like so Ringas is trying to find a good ripe fruit. Often they are being harvested while still unripe, but this makes no sense because then they will never develop their full sweetness and flavor. And this is one of the most flavorful fruits I know. You sure there is something ripe up there? Ada buah mazak di sana? Ada satu.
Anak gina si bayu jadi na. Bayu suruh. November.
So in December they will be ripe.
November.
November is now, no?
Now it's November.
No, it's November. So next month in December. Belum masak? Belum masak. Well, at least those are some of the very few fruits that fruit this year. Last year I was here in the area and there was a bumper crop of basically everything, and now you really have to try to find something nice and edible. And even the nice and edible things seem to be a bit late. Okay, let's see. Belum masak, but maybe in a couple days it will be good enough to eat. The genus Artocarpus is producing a lot of white latex. And actually working with the trees or with the unripe fruits is a real mess because this stuff is incredibly sticky.
He said the seed is not many and not much. Only 1 to 3 or 5 seeds.
Only 3 or 5 seeds in such a big fruit. Okay, maybe open it and we can show it. Basically in Artocarpus, oh yes, in almost all Artocarpus species, what you are looking after are those pollinated flowers. Basically this one is a big inflorescence with thousands of flowers, and if you are lucky more than 100 of them will be pollinated, and then most of the structure of the fruit will be those round structures, each with a big seed inside. And what you eat is the white stuff around the seed, which becomes very sweet and aromatic. And you can also eat the seeds. And many relatives you can actually use as a vegetable when they are in that state.
Not fully matured, not yet.
Can you use this as a vegetable for curry now, or you don't use this one? Like the champedak or the nanka?
Can. But
Okay.
this is still too young.
Still too young, even to be used as a vegetable. So too young to be used as a vegetable, too young to eat the sweet arils around the seeds, and too young to cook and eat the seeds. So this was just for demonstration purposes. Itu musim dalam berapa minggu? How many weeks until it's ripe?
Still a long to go.
Oh, so next week, not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I think end of this year.
End of this year, so more than a month to wait.
More than a month to wait.
Oh, what a pity. Well, it doesn't mean that it's not edible. Tastes a bit boring. A bit like some not completely ripe nut. Definitely edible, but nothing special. However, once it gets ripe, this is one of the sweetest and most aromatic fruits I know. But from this one you can maybe get out like 5 or maximum 10 edible arils from such a big fruit. Most people would probably not even bring this one to the market or even to their house because it wouldn't be worth the trouble. And if they sold it on the market, people would come back and complain that there is actually not much useful flesh inside. Back to the crystal fruit. I thought at first that some big tree had fallen on this one and destroyed the top part, but no, they pruned it in order to keep it small. I mean, climbing 3-4 meters is one thing, climbing 10 meters on such a tree is something different. So chopping down the tall branches in order to keep it small can actually be quite a clever move. And they say this year this quite small tree already yielded 50 kilograms. Oh, by the way, whenever you are filming the locals, you are being filmed back and you are being posted on social media too. So it's kind of poetic justice. How old is this tree? Berapa tahun?
5 years.
Oh, 5 years and already 50 kg.
5 years.
Well, fruit trees here grow fast. And the other one?
What Candis?
Yeah?
7.
7.
100 years.
Huh?
Candis.
The old Candis 300 years. And this one, the Tarap?
Yes.
The big fruit, how old?
This Candis is all.
Yeah, so the Candis is the thick stem. Oh, here, by the way, a lot of quite good size fruits on the ground. No, I mean this one which we just opened. I always forget the Bidayu name. I always call it Tarap because many other people call it Tarap. This tree.
This tree 7.
7 years. Wow. This thing is 6 or 7 years and already quite big and producing a lot of fruits. And here, the trunk of the big old mangosteen. Here, the spot where one of the big branches broke off. However, this was not the one we harvested. This has broken off probably months or a year ago. Quite tough timber. Oh yeah, this seems to be good quality timber. I guess this maybe grew in the old growth forest and was left alone as a valuable fruit tree and then incorporated in the garden. Yeah, here you see the branch we harvested. So they say when there were little children, this tree was already there, and for generations it has been climbed by the people of the village, and the fruit has been collected in order to serve as a medicine for prematurely born babies and as a spice for fish dishes. So if this tree was quite big and people already climbed it 60 years ago, then 100 years should be quite a good estimate. You have to be careful with estimates here. For example, Ringas once told me that his biggest durian tree is 50 years old, but other people have told me about durian trees of the same size that they must be over 150 years old. So if Ringas is so conservative with his estimate of his giant, over 1.5 meter thick durian tree, then I believe him. I believe both of them with the estimate of this one that it should be around 100 years old, because if it was still a big tree of similar size when there were little children, then this is quite a good indicator that their estimate is actually correct. Yeah, pity it's losing big branches. Apparently, a couple decades ago, a rubber plantation was planted here and then later was cut down because rubber doesn't bring money anymore around here. And now without the rubber, this tree, this Candis tree doesn't get the necessary support. But I guess after it loses a couple big branches, it's gonna reduce its size and maybe be able to remain here 100 more years.
Grow by itself.
A young Garcinia tree growing next to it. The original trunk has already...
I try to plant it.
You tried to plant it, but this is not planted by you, right? And as you see, they are taking care of it. Here a vine is climbing on the tree. They are cutting down the vine in order to prevent it from strangling the young tree. Here is another one where the same thing happened. The main trunk kind of died and then it resprouted from the side and died again, and now it's resprouting again. But it seems, yeah, it's resilient enough. Here a couple even smaller ones. To me they look a lot like suckers and not like seedlings, but of course I cannot be sure. But yeah, since the tree, yeah, they look like suckers. Look at that.
I think normally it
Yeah,
from the root.
this grow from the root, not from seed. Yeah,
From seed, from the root.
yeah. While I was talking, Ringus was researching, and yeah, such a thick root and just one root growing straight like this from here to there, and this coming out. Yeah, definitely root shoots / suckers. Beautiful tree, and
Go by the root.
seems to be resilient enough to remain here for a lot more time, especially since the people are taking care of it. Nowadays they say they don't use it for prematurely born babies anymore. They keep them in the hospital, but it's still quite valuable for fish dishes. Yeah, good tree, I like it. I always like when I see other Garcinia species than the mangosteen being grown. Of course, I'm also happy when they grow the mangosteen. On the way back, the fish are being fed with a mix of store-bought food and manioc leaves. Manioc leaves are also a very popular dish for the people around here, although they are being pounded in a mortar and pestle first. But apparently they're also being used to feed the fish. Here you can see what the fish had for lunch the last couple days. They eat the leaves, but they leave the petioles and the stems. And here they're already starting. What are those fish? Koi fish?
Tilapia. Red tilapia.
Very nice colorful tilapia. It seems they prefer the store-bought food, but when it runs out, I'm sure they're gonna devour the manioc leaves too. Nearby, we found a soursop, called by the locals durian blanda, or the durian of the Dutch people. And somehow it seems they didn't see that it has fruits. Oh. So one has already been claimed by the animals. I think up there I see a small one, which is good enough for harvesting. They're always afraid when a fat pig like me is climbing the trees because it's kind of dangerous. Tara lulu mazak. Tidak bagus. No, tidak bagus, tidak bagus.
That one.
That one? Okay. Using modern technology, but the problem is that I run out of hands now. I don't have enough hands to film, to cut, and to... and the little ants are swarming me. Fortunately, they are not the big red leaf-weaving ants. Here. How many fruits I take?
One.
Only one. Let's see, the other ones, nah, not ripe yet. Belum mazak.
Take two.
Two?
This.
Which one? Oh, I'm already being swarmed by the ants. This one is already... no, this is not good. This is not good. Which one shall I take?
Yes.
Up there?
Up. Two.
Oh my God, look at that. Hundreds of those little things have swarmed me. They might not be as painful as the big... dropping my phone. Okay. I had the choice between the phone and the fruits. So I decided to sacrifice the fruits. I'm being... At first I thought the little ants are not so bad, but... Get away from me! Get away from... Banyak semut, yeah. A mass of ants. They hurt. By far not as much as the big ones, but 1,000 little ones can also hurt a lot. Near the house, There is some giant passion fruit, Passiflora quadrangularis, or maybe the cucumber guy can correct me. Well, apropos cucumber, here those are not being used as fruits. They know that passion fruits are usually being used as fruits, but those they use as vegetables. The first time I found those on a market in Sarawak, it was explained to me that this is a cucumber and not a passion fruit, despite the fact that the flowers are totally like a passion fruit, but right now I don't see flowers. And this guy here now says he actually takes those and fries them in oil and eats them. Quadrangularis has a very thick rind, which is actually edible as long as the fruit is young and tastes a little bit like cucumber or melon. And yeah, apparently here they don't even use it as fruit, despite knowing that it is a passion fruit. They just use it as a vegetable to fry, and probably also for funny jokes. Haha.